Greetings to you, my Moorish brothers and sisters, and to my Aboriginal and Indigenous brothers and sisters in the Corporation of Guyana. Islam to you, my Moors, my Moorish brothers and sisters. I want to welcome you to this Enforcing the Constitution on the Dr. Matthews-Bey Unfiltered. I want to welcome you all once again. And as I was pretty much busy, to those who were constantly logged into the Dr. Matthews-Bey Unfiltered would realize that I was on a campaign trail, and I'm still on that campaign trail with the PNC reform and a partnership for national unity, where we are campaigning in the local government elections. Myself, who is running for as a PR, proportional representative candidate in district number 5, as part of the People's National Congress reform and the APNU AFC. I will be constantly on the trail, so please don't mind that I am not up and running constantly sometimes because I'm on the trail, and I'll be coming to you live from that particular standpoint as we have our public meetings. To those who would be and are looking, you would realize that I did some posts, 2 posts so far, with public meetings featuring Mr. Aubrey C. Norton and members of those particular districts who would be talking from time to time. As pertaining to today's topic, we are going to make sure that the enforcement of the Constitution is being adhered to. As to myself, I am a representative of the people. That's how I am running. And to represent for them in situations pertaining to their rights, especially those who are considered to be Aboriginal and Indigenous. As to the liberation movement, to liberate yourself from the system, like what I've done, that process it would have started yesterday, which was Monday, the 20th, to until the ending of this month, to start in the 1st of next month, which we will have those classes. So please contact me via WhatsApp only, 611-6575. I very much appreciate that. Or please do inbox me, but you can WhatsApp me only to those who are locally here in the corporation in Guyana. They are physical classes that would have been organized to set up. So physically it's been done, and there's also a virtual class which will comprise of I'm trying to remember the name of this thing. I'm just keep forgetting all the time. I don't know why. But it's the virtual classes. It's a media platform which will be set up so we can have that class, and we'll be doing it by groups. Please do remember the virtual, especially, we'll be doing it by groups. We'll have at least 5 persons per group. So I would start it pertaining to the very first 5. That's the group. I wouldn't start the classes with 1 person. It will be for 5 persons. That's the group. Okay? And you'll be set out according to groups. All right? That virtual platform will have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. 4 groups of 5, that's 20 persons. All right? So when you make your registration, we'll be able to do that for you, so you're able to be sorted out properly. And that is please remember, the registration information is for the liberalization of thyself. You need to liberate yourself in order to attain your allodial status, your rights. Okay? To those who are looking, and for you to comprehend some more, it's giving you an opportunity not only to become more, not only to become a more like me, an Aboriginal indigenous person like me, but it is also to give you a full comprehension of what is your entitlement. Hold on. Yes. So please do remember again, WhatsApp me at 592-611-6575, the same number at the bottom of your screen. Okay? To those who are looking. What I said, I forget anything else? No, I don't think so. So I want to go more upon my Aboriginal side of things today, because I want you to comprehend who and what we are. My belonging to is the Moorish High Science Temple. This particular embodiment of people, and I call it embodiment, was done by none other than the prophet and noble Jew Ali. And he would have designed this particular embodiment for us to attain one of the major basic things: the right to property, life, and liberty. May I repeat myself? Under the Moorish High Science Temple, and it has not been done no other part of the world, you attain your inalienable right. And I'm gonna start it over again. The right to life, liberty, and property. It's the same thing. And under that, we not only attain our inalienable right, but we attain our right to life in general. Fully recognition of life in general. To self-govern, to create, and to have prospects that are granted to us, not from an organization, not from a system, but from that supreme creator. Attaining such an identification as more, or recognition as more, that means having right to the land in which belongs to us, which the Prophet, the Honorable Noble Jew Ali, would have make sure that we attain such rights through a trust. That trust was created in order for us to know what belongs to us as a people. There's no one man that owns the land. The trust is for all noble Moors. So we can attain the rights to the land as owners of the land. And attaining the name Moor, I say M-U-U-R, to be identification of. It is the rights to the land through our Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Through that trust. And as you gain such of a trust, that now passes down to every generation. the right to inhabit, the right to the right to do business, the right to ownership, the right to claim. That's what that trust is about. And no one owns it but us. Every other person are here via way of settlement. Every other person are here by a way of treaty, which was granted unto them for the purpose of commerce. They don't own it, they're temporary, they are settlers. Every other corporation are a temporary embodiment on the lands that were owned, that is owned by us. And I want to make it absolutely clear. And we can only attain such rights by the recognition, to the rights in which we must have as an Aboriginal indigenous person. I call it American state citizen. Yes. When I mean American state citizen, it doesn't mean the United States. It means America, Amexium, the land in which belongs to you. As a matter of fact, there's no land right now that is on the earth that doesn't belong to us. The earth belongs to us. That's the name and the reason you call more. So when they say you are more by etymology means rulers of the land, owners of the land. That's what it means. People sometimes misinterpret or misconstrue what we are all about. So I want to make that absolutely clear. We do not ask organizations or corporations for permission to exist on the land. It is ours. Yes, the melanated persons like me, of course, we are the first people. That is why we attain the name Aboriginal, meaning first people. First inhabitants, first people. Well, people have all kinds of different comprehension, but meaning the first people. And as time goes by, we adopt certain names because of certain particular tribe or because of certain particular areas of the globe that we become, like the Bantus and the Arawaks in the Americas. All these information given, it is something that we must constantly take charge of and research of. Because if we realize who were the Arawaks on the Americas, then we'd realize the entire Columbia and Greater Columbia. We need to do our research. We inhabited the largest population is pertaining to the Arawaks is a place now you call Brazil, which that area was named after a nut, which Brazil is the name of the nut, because it was one of our main diets, the Brazil nut. And over the period of years, they give it some different names and all kinds of different things, but that's what they did. And as over the years passes, the thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, we would have had different names, but one of the main names that remained was the Arawaks and the Bantus. And then the Carib came over the Bering Strait. And the Dutch found it properly to do business with them and use them to have constant wars, trying to take our lands away from us. But we inhabited the entire globe as a people. You go to every corners of the globe, places that you call corporations is known as countries, you realize that the indigenous people of that land were like me and still is, but they don't highlight them. We are the only persons on this globe has a pineal gland. We're the only persons that can be deemed as living souls. Because we're different from everyone else. Something that I want to share with you that people don't realize. There's something that you call H2O. It is known in scientific form, it's known as water. H2O, hydrogen plus oxygen. That means light and heavy. So here was the thing. I asked people a few times, more than one time. I said, why does our body 70% hydrogen and 30% oxygen? But we don't recognize that. Why, when we trouble from dehydration, we need to rehydrate our bodies? And I keep asking the question, why? Why don't we know these things? Why don't we study what is hydrogen? Because that is what we are made of. A majority of the body that we have, that we're in, this living soul that's in, is hydrogen. So why do we confine ourselves to oxygen? Why do we move from the top to the bottom, then move from the bottom to the top? Why don't we accelerate? Why do we keep decelerating? You know, it's amazing to see the school system that we are part of and how it is damaging our youths and ourselves, because we keep re-educating ourselves as animals instead of edifying ourselves as living souls. The constant barrage of information that is misinformation, indoctrination, that takes us places that we're not supposed to even go as living souls. Every year, every lifetime, every how should I put it over? Every generation, it's a different level of indoctrination. They keep scrubbing our memory and our brain. They keep forcing us to accept things that we're not. You never ask the question, how every different animal life form on this earth keeps their culture. They keep the way they speak, the way they live, and everything. every animal life form. They're now implementing this hybrid system onto them and only for them. But when it comes to us, we must never know our ancestral teachings. We must never know the languages that we spoke. We must never know these informations. Why is it? Ask yourself the question. We must never know nothing about ourselves. Oh, it's a dangerous thing. And you have to ask yourself, what is so dangerous about us? What is it that these people are hiding that they don't want to tell us? What is it that is so dangerous? Why is information so hidden in plain sight? Why are we so different from every other life form on earth, every animal? Because the word being means animal, the word human means slave. Yes? The etymology of it. Because only an animal can be a slave. So when you stand up for human rights, you know what rights are you standing up for? Black means stature that belongs to the system. That's the laws that you live by. Acts, codes, conducts, and statutes. Stature belongs to statutes. You have no rights over yourself. Black, colored, Negro, all these things. Indigo, Indian. If you check, if you constantly keep checking on the differences of our presence here, you'd realize that there's a serious problem of acknowledging the rights of Aboriginal, Indigenous brothers and sisters. You'd realize that. And the minute you promote yourself, the minute you promote your lineage, your ancestral lineage, it suddenly becomes witchcraft. You know, like nothing is right for you. The minute you start edifying yourself, you suddenly become crazy. Well, here, when I start the edification process, the amount of things that I've known thus far has granted me access to pure energy. These energies that I'm talking about is something that only you, the liberated mind, could experience. Only you, the liberated mind, can experience this energy that I'm talking about. And it is only you who not only can experience it, but constantly tap into the energy of information from your ancestors. To those who are looking at this program and know what I'm talking about. Just yesterday, I had a conversation with a brother who claims to be Christian. I told him, he said, you know, Brother Matthews, you don't come to church anymore. And I wonder why. I said, because I stopped believing. He said, you mean you stop believing? I said, yes. To believe means to doubt. So every time I say I believe, I have to go to church because I keep doubting. The day I awoke and I said, I know there's no reason for me to go to church anymore because I have evolved above that. Church is a different level. So he said, what do you want me to think of that? I said, I don't want to become a prey anymore, because to those who go to church, mosque, or temple, right? They those are the ones who would go there to receive some sort of comfort. I said, I've evolved above that. I know. I not only know, I know where to go and what to do. Nobody don't have to tell me that anymore. I become responsible because the energies that I have acquired has awoken me. So he said, well, that means you're telling me I'm asleep. I said, well, if you think properly, you realize that maybe you're still asleep. So I don't want to become a prey to a predator. But I said, I will leave that for another time, another place where we can comprehend what I'm talking about. And that discussion was fruitful because he get to comprehend where did I stand. And I said, for me, there's no such thing as a devil, so I don't have time with that. I said, life depends upon how you see it. If you think greater than the earthly possessions, then you've moved beyond and you've acquired the multiverse. If you stay within the earthly possession, well, then you have not evolved. And you think of that is earthly. That is what we have to see. Sometimes we need to constantly educate ourselves or edify ourselves, constantly. We need to continue to read and do researches if you want to find out who you were and who you are. If you need to find out the true you. Sometimes you need to continue to do that because the truth is hidden in plain sight to prevent you from seeing it. And some people will never give you the truth. They don't want you to know the truth. They don't want the truth to be exposed, so they will work hard in keeping it from you. You know, there got some things some people say when you know the truth, you lose a lot of friends because most of your friends are asleep and they prefer to be lied to. They prefer to be lied to constantly. They don't want you to wake up any morning and realize that, you know, you used to say this, but when I realize that this doesn't mean this anymore because this doesn't make sense, it doesn't add up. That is what you call the spirit of discernment. But if you don't discern, it will be hard for you. But if you fail to discern, it will not only be hard for you, but it will be hard for you to see the truth. Capitalism and democracy uses one thing. You tell a lie, and you tell another lie to continue to cover up that lie. So it suddenly becomes the truth. It becomes gospel. Gospel means constantly talked about, preventing you from seeing the truth so we can have a gospel continue to speak, to be spoken to you. And suddenly when it becomes gospel, it becomes scriptures. Thus is how the world works. So the Moorish High Science Temple, along with the Moors, the Aboriginal indigenous people of the land, will continue to speak the truth, will continue to teach the truth, will continue to liberate the people. Sorry. Liberation of the mind is a must, and you could only do so physically in order to inherit physically, spiritually. The physical you have to be liberated in order for the spiritual part to work. You cannot liberate yourself spiritually and claim to be liberated and you're still a slave physically. It cannot work. You will die and live in oppression because it's oppressing yourself constantly, daily. The language and the words that you speak, it's an energy. You have to find out what those words, which is an energetic form, was created for. You got to find those things out. Everything is an energy. And the only people can tell you the truth is us. The only people who can be able to liberate you, open your eyes, and help you to see properly and arise you from one position to the next. It is the Moors, the Aboriginal indigenous people. We're the only people that holds the truth presently. Everybody else has adopted and plagiarized it. We are who we are to the world, to the multiverse. Only through us you can see that light, as they would say, which is the truth. Only through us you can experience liberation, full liberation, the right to self-rule and to self-govern, the right to own everything you have could only be determined through the Aboriginal indigenous people, the Moors. This is the fact. I can't help it, I can't hide it. But we could only do that when we recognize where we are and where we need to go next. And we could only do that when we start reading and writing and comprehending. We could only do such things if we don't do these things. Well, then we can't know where we are. We keep listening to the filth that people tells us. If we are being spoon-fed, well, then we cannot have the spirit of discernment, because the spirit of discernment becomes a reality only when we do research, only when we read, only when we investigate. When we ask people to do those things for us, we cannot attain the spirit of discernment, because you could only discern in your ability to investigate and to do the research and to read. These things could only happen because when you do those things, you activate the pineal gland. Yes, you activate the pineal gland, and then it takes you into different areas that you can never imagine. You need to find these things out for yourself because I've experienced it. I have experienced it. I can tell you that. There is there's a conversation that I was in on Sunday, just after the rally. And that conversation was raised by a particular individual who I presume to be very learned. And it's a female. And then she says, "What about politics? How do I see it?" Yes. So I was saying that if we do not see the truth in things that people present to us, we will be unable to witness these truths. Let us look at things differently. Let us do that research. Let us Yes, as I was saying earlier, the information given would have been interrupted by world events now that are being taking place, and where you find out that nobody believes no more in the system. There is this woke theory that the US government is trying to ban now from off of social media. They want to use it as terrorism. But the thing is that as long as you're liberated from the system, there's no terrorism. Terrorism is those who are trying to impose a system on people and take away their natural given rights. That is terrorism. And that is what the democratic world and the capitalist system is doing, imposing their rights, their lifestyle, imposing it by force because you're part of a system. So you have no choice. So this is what the liberation movement is about, the registration to liberate yourself. It's to help you to comprehend that we can no longer sit down and allow you to impose your life, your system on us as a people. It cannot work. Everybody has the right to recognize their own. So why can't we? So we cannot do that. We cannot continue to do that all the time. At least not me. I wouldn't. Believe you me. So I wouldn't encourage no other person who are Aboriginal and Indigenous to continue to allow Homo sapiens or Anglo Saxons to impose their animalistic culture on you. We're not animals, we're living souls. We were never animals. But be sure to realize that we're not be prey to you who you think you're a predator. Because that time has passed and gone, my friend. That time has passed and gone. And to those who are looking, no, who are Aboriginal, Indigenous person like myself, those who are looking, now is that time. You cannot ask for anything more. Now is that time. Take a look around you and see what's going on. Why do you think they act like that on you? They not only keep you in the dark, but they suppress you. When you decide to say, look, I don't want to be suppressed anymore, then they implement a law and order system that deteriorates you. You gotta ask yourself the question, what is it so special about me that you don't want me to know about me? What is it so special about me? That you don't want me to know about me. Why am I such a precious cargo, as you want to put it in that manner? Why is it I'm only limited to become a slave to you? What is it that you don't want me to know about myself? And you know the amazing thing is that after all those years, hundreds of years, 500 plus years, look, let me tell you something to those who are looking. This indoctrination, slaveriization started since in the 1500s, but we weren't indoctrinated predominantly. So as the years go by, that indoctrination process continued because with the intention of keep on indoctrinating the Aboriginal man. And when we realized that there would have been a dominant indoctrination, we decided to write treaties, craft treaties. You check all the rebellions that happened around the world. It was ended with treaties, not only to recognize the Aboriginal man, but to give him the dues that he has gained. You call it royalty. I call it due respect to life, liberty, and property. We had signed those treaties with your foreparents, those who seek to want to become predators of a different sect of people and want us to adopt their lifestyle. Can't work. Check it, it cannot work. We get sick, tired, we develop cancerous effects and diseases and all these different things that destroys us. Our bodies become a burial ground for carcass, for we eat so lavishly, killing ourselves daily, reducing our lifespan, reducing the way we think, because some of us think we need to eat to live. We need to eat the carcass, the chicken and the fish and the chips and the food and drink the sweet drink to live. No, we got it wrong. Yes, we need to eat to live, but what kind of food we need to eat to live? We only think of the physical food because that's what the system wants us to think. But the edification process is another way in which we eat. But they don't want you to know that. You see, the more and more you become edified, is the more you started to evolve and you realize what the body needs and what the body doesn't need. The body doesn't need the constant abuse of carcass. The body doesn't need most of the things that we think it needs. These heavy vitamins and minerals. Why do you think the body creates antibodies? Why do you think that why do you see that the body creates its own minerals and vitamins? Instead, you think you put in the minerals and vitamins in your bodies. Instead of that, we're taking it out. The food that we eat and our